Aditya, US national Al-Qaeda operative who preached hatred and attacks against the United States from his safe haven in Yemen. And how does the United States react to that?
Well, firstly, there are no rules of war for the United States. There are no rules on counterterrorism for the United States.
Right.
You have Osama bin Laden, the biggest example on the screen. You know, there's a Navy SEAL raid that happens in Abbottabad in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And, you know, all sovereignty, all bilateral agreements, all international commitments are completely violated.
Violated, suspended.
The world also unites, you know, because this is a fight against terror.
Right.
Then why not, you know, agree that all countries share the same values, the same kind of spirit, the same kind of actually, you know, democratic right to actually target terrorists anywhere on the planet. You know, you can't have different rules in US and entirely different rules in Yemen, Pakistan and other places.
Right. So the lesson here is that do as we say, but don't do as we do. That seems to be what the United States is telling the rest of the world. Of course, we are not for a minute advocating assassinations or targeted killings of anyone. This is bad. This is against any international norm or any civilized society. But if you look at the way the United States has conducted its global war on terror, it's assassinated a record number of individuals overseas who were perceived to be threats to the mainland United States, especially after 9/11, individuals who could influence and launch attacks against the United States. The case of Anwar al Awlaki, a US national, a preacher, based in Yemen, assassinated by a CIA drone. It's never publicly acknowledged by the United States, but it's clear that Awlaki was on a hit list and was taken out by the Obama administration. And of course, David Coleman Headley. Aditya, the double agent, the US double agent inside the Lashkar-e-Taiba, a US citizen, drug trafficker who operated in the tribal badlands of Afpak because the United States figured that they could use him to locate Osama bin Laden. Headley was providing a steady stream of intelligence to the United States. He was a double agent. The US passed some of that intelligence to Indian authorities from 2006 onwards, which is how we get those 26 alerts between 2006 and 2008. But they never gave us the full picture. And we spoke to then NSA MK Narayanan to know more about David Headley. Let's listen.
I would say, as it is to be expected, the scale of the attack was something that we were surprised at. There have been periodic attempts, because the period between, I would say, 2002 till about 2010, there are a whole lot of attacks. The Pakistanis had set up an organization called the Indian Mujahideen, and we were accustomed to the Pakistan acting, or the Indian Mujahideen acting as a proxy for Pakistan, carrying out various attacks. And we had a 2006, they were attacks on the trains in Bombay and whatnot. So when this happened, the scale of the attack was there. There was some information that was shared by the Americans, that there might be some kind of a problem, but therefore the fair amount of security had been increased during that period. But the scale of what was being done, some of it which probably the Americans had, but because David Headley was a double agent, the Americans did not want him to be fully exposed. So all that he probably shared with the Americans was not shared with us in terms of intelligence. If we had that, I'm sure that we would have been able to deal with the situation far better. So yes, the scale of the attack surprised us. I would even say shocked us.
So that was the former NSA MK Narayanan, Aditya, on the fact that the United States could have prevented 26/11 if it had given us enough intelligence, if it had said more, but they chose not to. That's a very damning revelation, and that again tells you how the United States conducts its national security and its foreign policy. It's a lesson for the rest of the world. Do as we say, not as we do.
News9 Plus. Download now.